On today's hot sheet, I'm discussing the household debt and credit report for quarter three, buyer reliance on real estate agents, and investors paying premiums. Today is Thursday, November 6th, 2025. I'm Byron Lazine, and the hot sheet starts now. Welcome in live from Naples, Florida. It's good to be back, sub 3.5 hours of sleep, but it's a pleasure to be with you wherever you may be. Let us know in the live chat which market you're tuning in from. So the news of the week has been kind of focused around the political elections, and New York City certainly taking center stage in that conversation. When you just dig one layer underneath the mayoral election, it's all about affordability. That election was ran on affordability, and you had voters show up based on that sole issue, and really drive the conversation forward on affordability. And what do you know? We've got the quarter three debt report out, which kind of highlights a little bit of what's going on. So, household debt and credit report from the Federal Reserve Bank of New York is out, and household debt hits $18.59 trillion in the third quarter. So, Haley, you can go ahead and bring it up. We got a bunch of slides on this. Obviously, the report's pretty lengthy. You've got total debt balance now on household debt hitting $18.59 trillion. Quarter three, that is a record. And you've got mortgage originations ticking up. Listen, I think in with what we know is going on here, mortgage originations ticking up is a good sign for the future. We've had a real lack in deals, so mortgage balance has grown a little bit is actually good. It means that there might be some movement on a forward basis. Mortgage balances grew by 137 billion in this report and totaled in the third quarter, and totaled 13.07 trillion at the end of September. The pace of mortgage originations increased with 512 billion newly originated in quarter three. So Haley, if we can go to the next one, we'll dig in a little bit deeper here on this. You've got student loan debt in the red. Look at student loan debt right now. Talk about that election. Look up the numbers of young voters who went for the end, who ended up winning there with that race. You had a youth vote. And look at all that student loan debt that they're dealing with. Student loan debt right now grew by 15 billion. And here's the number, okay? Student loan balances stand at $1.65 trillion. So in total, these non-housing balances increased by 49 billion. It's a 1% increase from quarter two. We've got credit card balances rose by 24 billion in the third quarter. That's now at $1.23 trillion outstanding. It's 5.75% above the level a year ago. Auto loan balances held steady, remaining at 1.66 trillion. Other balances, including credit cards and consumer finance loans, rose by 10 billion, now totaling $550 billion. Haley, if you go to the post I had on X yesterday, I think I reposted or requoted, what do they call it? Posted a post on X. Okay. Quote tweeted. There you go. I think it's posting now. There's no more tweet because there's no more Twitter, Haley. Come on, get with the times here. There's a reason. So here's the reason. Zero Hedge says, here's the reason for the collapse in consumption. And this is a chart showing serious delinquencies for student loans. This is by age. All age categories, delinquencies are coming off of zero. Of course, they're coming off of zero when you weren't able to be delinquent. those numbers were low. Now they're shooting back up as those loans are able to be delinquent again. And you know, uh, I just quote tweeted that. I guess I'll use your word, Haley, in reference to this week's news. Hey, this is the reason the New York City youth went the direction they did. The irony in all of this is government created this problem. Okay. The access to student loan debt, how easy it is to get. Does anybody remember, what happened when it was so easy to get a mortgage? I do, right? If you were selling real estate or buying real estate during that time, during 2005, 2006, 2004, during those years, if you didn't just watch The Big Short, if you actually lived it, you remember what happens when money becomes so obviously excessive to people who shouldn't be qualifying for it. I was one of them, right? And, that's what's happened with student loans. It's just become a freebie, and, now we're gonna fix it maybe with more free stuff. I don't know what the solution is there, but the government created that problem, and now you've got people asking for government to come solve the problem. I think the solve for that would be to take away the ability to continue giving away free loans. So debt becoming a big issue, or becoming an issue. If you look at percent of days delinquent, go back to that chart there, Haley, in school. Student loan obviously has jumped up, and you're looking at about 10% of 90-day plus delinquencies. 10%, so 1 out of 10 student loan holders is delinquent. Credit card right now, highest level since going back to like 2010, 2011 timeframe. That's GFC recovery timeframe on credit card. We were talking about a year ago, seeing this number creep up. It's like, hey, let's keep an eye on it. This number is back up to the highest level we've seen in the last 20 years, or on pace with the highest level anyway. You look at mortgages, okay, still extremely low. Why? It is very hard to get a mortgage. Okay. It is very high credit score borrowers. And so you're not seeing a problem with mortgage. They fixed that. That's why you're not going to see a mortgage crisis. There's no evidence that would suggest that. Home equity line of credit, same thing. It is a standard of qualifications that have been changed since 2012, that continue to produce these really low numbers. You do see auto loans ticking up. That's at the, there's been 2 other times. Look at 2020 and go back to during the crisis, where we're at about 5%. You're back up to that number now on auto loans, about 5%. So the delinquency rates of 90-day plus across all categories starting to increase a bit. Mortgage originations in this report, New York Fed did the report, full reports in school for BAMX members. Just grab it. All the slides we use each and every single day, available for you as a resource as well. Mortgage originations by credit score, majority of originations happening in that 760 plus range, and very few mortgage originations sub 620. You can't even see it. If you're on your phone, you probably can't. Probably just looks like the black line at the bottom of this chart. But nope, that's how small of a number of originations is happening below 620 credit score. 620 to 659, not a lot happening there. And this has been a consistent story now since the problem was fixed during the mortgage crisis. Okay, and so you've got high credit score borrowers on mortgages. Number of consumers with new foreclosures and bankruptcies go back 20 years, 22 plus years on this chart. And we're at, the lowest numbers, or kind of just in line with the lowest numbers we've seen on both foreclosures and bankruptcies. You might say, hey, well, the foreclosures were a little less in 20 and 21. Well, that was a fake market for foreclosures, you weren't allowed to foreclose, right? I couldn't foreclose. So, look at the times when foreclosure was an option. And this is the lowest level we've seen in 22 years. Bankruptcies, also lowest level, ticking up a tad. But, relatively speaking, you're going back here and not seeing a big number put up there. Mortgage originations by age, according to New York Fed. Now, there was a big report, and I gave NAR credit yesterday on their first-time home buyer report. And obviously, they had a high number for first-time home buyers. Here's the mortgage originations by age. You have 18 to 29 is, the 18 to 29 mortgage originations is higher than it was in 13, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. You could get better deals back then. So higher mortgage originations by the 18 to 29-year-old group than those years. Interesting. 30 to 39, highest level we've seen in the last 3-4 years. Okay. So that's interesting. 40 to 49, also higher than we've seen in the last 2-3 years. And there you go. So 70 plus, small number, smallest number on the chart. Obviously, 70 plus has cash, makes up probably a good chunk of the cash buyer. So there might be, I'm going to be digging more into that NAR report on the first time home buyer age. Saw a couple things float. I want to check it. I'll have some more next week. Really a small sample size there. I gave him credit yesterday as quickly as I gave him credit. Might have to pull back on that. I'm looking into it. I'll have some stuff on that next week. All right. Let's there you go on the New York Fed report. Big headline is going to be the consumer debt ticking up. Got to get rates down, or if you continue to operate in a restrictive rate environment, at some point the debt becomes a little bit too much. All right, NAR, speaking of the report, here's some more findings. 88% of home buyers still rely on agents. Whew, I was getting worried. I don't know if you were getting worried. Boy, thanks, NAR. No kidding. We know it. Go try to do this thing on your own without a professional in your corner. Yeah, we understand that. So NAR's 2025 profile of home buyers and sellers found 88% of home buyers purchased through a real estate agent or broker. I was just in Vegas, just got back, feel like a few hours ago. And the new chief economist for Zillow, just started a couple of weeks ago, did a good job on his presentation. Talked about this year, more people are using an agent right now than they were in 2019. Okay, agent usage has gone up while AI usage has gone up, while we've gone through the explosion of prices and low rates with the COVID and everything in between. Yet agent usage is up. Settlement, people didn't shy away from agents. It's up. 88% of home buyers said, yep, get me an agent, get me a broker in my corner. So that captures an ongoing trust between buyers and real estate professionals. There's so much info. Listen, one of the things I talk about with somebody said to me the other day, they said, man, you must be loving all the news in real estate. There's so much happening, lawsuits and, portal, acquisitions, all these things that are happening. You guys just must love it at BAM. I said, no, not really. There's a whole bunch of stuff to, kind of cover and consider and have a conversation about, but a lot of it's noise. Well, the reason I don't love it as much for BAM is because it creates a lot of distractions for some of these clickbait heroes, okay, that are running around on the internet. And, BAM puts out information free, accessible. We believe that education is broken in real estate from a number of different levels. And all of this noise creates a bunch of non-players, a bunch of NPCs running around disseminating information, people who have never done what you and I have done, the real estate professional, people who have never built social to the level. There's nobody in the business that can really say they've built social to the level of an Eric Simon, the broke agent, outside of a handful of friends. And so, no, I don't love all the clickbait heroes out there tricking people. I think it's gotten very confusing. And so buyers are feeling a little bit of that from their perspective. There's just a lot out, the lawsuit, information that AI is feeding me, the mortgage rates, what the Fed's doing, all this information. And what has it done? All of that distraction has created an area for the really great professional to level up and be a resource for customers, and customers want that resource. Going back to, hey, education being broken, unfortunately, sometimes they go through that experience and then they don't have the experience. Talked about that a little bit on what's going on with that consumer report. If you didn't check out this week's Real Word podcast, go take a look at that. That consumer report was concerning to me. So the agent's role is not fading. It's evolving. Love to see more of a standard within brokerages across the country on the conversations that they're having with their agents each and every single day. Nearly half of all buyers, 46%, started their home search online. Makes sense. I would have thought it'd be higher. 46% starting online. 20% began, though, by contacting an agent. Okay, first move was, hey, let me get in touch with an agent. I know the experience is going to be online, but I'm going to help. I'm going to have them help me, guide me to the right place first. So if you bring up that first chart there from home search process, Haley, thank you. The frequency of different information sources. Okay, this is the percent distribution of information sources. Frequently, 62% real estate agent leads the pack. Occasionally, 23% for agent. So 85% of information agent leading the categories. Okay. Next up, mobile or tablet search device, 53% frequently, 16% occasionally. So that's next. I mean, that's going to be your portals for sure. Online video sites. So think YouTube. It's the third one. Okay. Online videos. Your version of the hot sheet once a month or bi-weekly or whatever. That's the third option. 28% and 23% online video site. Okay. Open house is, occasionally, that's a big one. 34%, 14% frequently. Open house is an informational resource, treating it like an informational hub for agents. Being prepared. It's not about the door being open and the apple pie being on the countertop. Be an informational source. It's a great venue to pick up listings, seller conversations. When I see using an open house as an information source, my mind goes, yep, sellers shopping the market for information, not for their next home. Sometimes, yes, but shopping for information. Ooh, how are they positioning their home? Who's the agent? What are the prices out there? Is anybody showing up to these open houses? What's the word on the street? Little recon. Smart sellers do it. Yard signs, okay? This one to me, I know I'm probably going to get a couple agents that want to yell through the chat. Go ahead and hit me with it. I think yard signs should be 0, but it's not. So you got to use them. You got to do it. You got to have a yard sign that connects to you. Make sure you have a system for responding immediately to yard sign connections. But to think, I would never use a yard sign as my barometer of what the hell's going on in the world, but people do. 8% frequently do it, 24% occasionally. I'm seeing some yard signs out there that are silly. Home builder, 6% and 10%, and then relocation company has, that's a very small slice. Relocation companies have kind of just lost style a little bit over the years. Usefulness of different information sources. So if we take a look at the next one here, Haley, 77% agents still leading this charge here. 77% Usefulness, very useful. 20% somewhat useful. Mobile or tablets, number 2. Online videos, 3. So follow the same exact. The only thing that flips on the bottom is relo and yard sign, but you're really following the same pattern as the first one. And where buyers found the home they purchased. Okay, so this is a 24-year. Yeah, keep going. There you go, Haley. 24-year. Look. Okay, so the internet back in 2001 was at 8%. It's 52% of buyers today finding the home that they purchased online. 52%. And back in 2001, 48% was through an agent. It's 27% today. So I say this often, the job has changed. Opening a door, finding a home, a lot less valuable, for a buyer agent that says, well, I get them on an MLS search and conduct home tours. Okay. To me, that's less work, not more. And less work equals less comp, which is fine. That's an offering some people do. Hey, I offer up the bare minimum, the thing that most buyers can handle a lot of on their own. And, I think services, there's a variety of way to provide services. Some people do that, but you see, that's not a service that is needed as much as it once was. 52% are finding it online. The second category is still through the agent. The biggest category after that would be the friend, the relative, or the neighbor. Always good to hear. My friend said I should consider X. Yard sign down to 5%. Used to be 15% back in 01. That makes me happy. Yard signs should shrink down to nothing. I know it's a feel good to have your name in a neighborhood. It's silly in the world of the internet, but it's only 5%. So it's not a big driver of finding homes, but it is something. It's in the top 6 categories here: home builder or their agent, meaning their home builder agent, or directly from sellers. New the seller, 4%. Okay. Go to the next one, Haley, here. Home buying and real estate professionals. What buyers want most from agents. It's still the leading category per this NAR updated report here this year. Okay. So they don't need you to find the home. What do they need? You to find the right home. Okay. There's a big difference there. I can find homes online. The service provided from an agent that's willing to help me find the right home. Okay, here's the difference. Automated MLS search, giving them the stuff that they already see in their Zillow feed or their Realtor.com feed, or the agent actively sourcing properties, giving a report, whether one-on-one video, text, whatever, even touring some of those homes ahead of time, uncovering unknown and unseen online information. Those are the two differences on services. It's a big difference between finding homes online and identifying the right home, being an active participant. One agent waits for links to come back to them. Yeah, I want to see this one. The other one drives the conversation daily, actively with the buyer client. That's what they want. That's what they seek, 50%. That's what they want most, okay? Negotiating terms of sale, much lower number, 13%. Helping with the price negotiations, 12%. Paperwork help, 7%. Okay? I don't know about you guys, but, I look at these contracts. They're not hard to figure out. I didn't go to law school. It's fill in the blank stuff. I'd have a couple questions or about them. A lot of questions are being asked about these contracts through GPT. What information are they getting? Interestingly, you can drop this one, Haley. Interestingly, yesterday there was a panel in Vegas. Leo Pereira was on the panel. Obviously, Leo's been on the channel here a number of times. Friend of BAM, EXP CEO. Brian Boero, friend of BAM's been involved in the past, 1,000 watt. And then there was a compliance, a real estate compliance person from California. Okay, her number. I don't have her number, and I wouldn't give it out online if I did. Her name is Summer Gorelick. Okay, she's a California broker. She's a former DRE investigator. She's a real estate compliance consultant who helps licensees with regulatory compliance. So she looks at, hey, brokers, hey, are you compliant with the rules in your area? And she made the point, a lot of the contract questions are happening on GPT or other AI sources, and a lot of the answers are not necessarily correct, oftentimes not. Your AI is a great assistant, but AI is an unlicensed assistant, right? There are things we need to be compliant with, and answers to questions need to reflect that. I'd throw your contract probably into AI and say, hey, what are the most common questions my consumers are going to have, and what answers would you provide them? Don't guide it. What answers would you provide? You know what the right answer. You might find that 30% of the answers are wrong. Ooh, maybe creating a little FAQ sheet, frequently asked questions about the contract that I'm sending you. And here's the right answers. Here's what GPT will likely tell you. Wrong answer. Okay. More clarification. Reach out to me, not chat. Okay. Home buying and real estate professionals. Number of agents, Haley, interviewed by first time and repeat buyers. Okay. Number of real estate agents interviewed by first time and repeat buyers. Okay. One agent, all buyers, 74%. Man, speed to lead is everything. Why do you convert if you're able to answer people's questions within 30 seconds, a minute? Because 75% of the time they say, yep, let's roll. You were accountable. You actually picked up. You responded. You have a heartbeat. I have a breathing agent over here. Good news. This person's alive. Let's move forward. 75% of the time, that's it. Boom. Let's roll. Interview one. They picked up. I'm ready to roll. I never get it when agents like, man, I was in an appointment. So sorry. 3 hours later. Sorry. Like 3 hours is a lifetime. I've seen 17 TikToks in 3 hours, watched 2 YouTube videos, and called 2 other agents. You lost. 16% interview 2. Now, listen, you're probably thinking like I'm thinking. That's a smart 16%. Do a comparison. It's smart. Problem is, not everybody does that. Very few. Even fewer interview 3. 7%, 4 or more, 3%. Interviewing 2 or 3 makes a lot of sense, but only 23% of people do it. So it's not a big number. I'd advise it. I'd encourage it. They're really smart for doing it. Repeat buyers, a little bit less, because 76% of them are only interviewing 1. And a lot of, if they had a great experience, might be that agent they used the first time. First time buyers, 76% are interviewing 1. The number goes up on interviewing 2 to 18% and 3 to 10%. So first time home buyers taking it a little bit more cautiously, also smart. All right. Home buying satisfaction with real estate agent skills and qualities. Responsiveness, 89%. We're happy with it. Knowledge, 89%. Honest and integrity at 89%. Very satisfied. These are good numbers. Where the numbers the lowest was negotiation skills, knowledge of local area. Skills with technology, boy. I mean, that's an easy one to improve on. If you think you're in the 15% where they said, yeah, I'm somewhat satisfied with their skills and technology, that's an easy one to improve on. Communication skills. I mean, in our business, this should be 99%, not 86. Communication is what we do. If you're not working on it, we work on it every Tuesday in BAMX, 9 a.m., 6 a.m. on the West Coast. You can get all the replays inside of school. You can try it this Tuesday for free. Just go to school.com/BAMX. Every Tuesday, we're working on communication skills. Sharpen the communication to increase the conversion. We're doing that every Tuesday right before the hot sheet. Jump in. BAMX on school. School.com/BAMX. You can try it out for free the next 7 days and join us on Tuesday. If you like getting better, it's definitely for you. All right. Last one here on this NAR report. Then we're going to move to this Realtor.com report. Would buy or use agent again? 76% say definitely. It's great news. Probably in the 15% category, then down from there. All right. That's good news. Those are overall very good numbers from NAR. Again, small sample size when you dig into that report. So, don't go, pop and voove today at noon off of that report. Keep working your deal. Those numbers might be just a little slanted to the good side. I'm looking into that. Small investors. Okay. Investors right now, according to this Realtor.com report, are paying up to 35% above median home price. So, listen, we heard from the JP Morgan Chase guy. They just built a pretty incredible building in New York. If you haven't seen that, wow. I mean, not everybody's leaving New York City. JP Morgan's not going anywhere. That is one of the nicest office buildings you'll ever see in the world up to this point. That headquarters is stunning in New York City, JP Morgan. We had a clip from the JP Morgan, one of their people who's leading the charge of buying homes. He's like, if it's under the cost of construction, we'll overpay for it. We're buying as many of those homes as we can. Investors on the total are paying as much as 35% above median sale price in some U.S. states during the second quarter. Okay, this is part of their investor report mid-year update. So overall sales are falling year over year, 4.2% according to this. Investor purchases only dropped 2.7%. They're buying right now. Okay, so they're taking a stronger foothold in a shrinking market. Now, why are they paying more? People say, Byron, why haven't you done a flip in the last few years? Because people are doing this. When you get a flip opportunity, you get the new flippers coming out, and they're willing to take a really small margin. I don't want to tie up money for a small margin. Okay. I don't want to do lipstick on a pig. I want to bring the thing down to the studs, do it right. Overall share of purchases rose slightly, 10.8% of all home buyers, up from 10.7% a year ago. Now, this isn't 10.8, and this isn't institutional buyers buying 1 out of every 10 homes. No, a lot of the investors are your neighbor, your client, you. In the first half of 25, investors bought about 41,000 homes more than they sold. So obviously that limits supply, intensifies competition. Here are the top 5 states where investors paid above the median price. Montana, 35%. Utah, 33% higher. California, 23% higher than the median price. New York, 12.3%. Vermont, 3.2%. Watch out, New York. They don't want you doing that in there. Don't be competitively buying things. LA up 20%. Here's the biggest premiums. LA up 20%. San Diego, New York, San Francisco, and Nashville. Haley, if we go to that first chart here inside of school on some of this data, some interesting stuff. Small investors, okay? So the small investor, accounted for 62.5% of investor purchases. The median investor, 17.6. So large investors accounted for 20%. Let me just give you the metrics on these, okay? Small investors, that's the highest share, by the way, on the small investor since 2007. Okay, so small investors are actually increasing share, not the large investor. Okay, small investor increasing share. And let me see if I've got these numbers. I think I do. How many homes of the small investor owns? I'll find it. I'll pull it up. It'll be in the report if I don't find it in time. Go to the next one here, Haley. Small investor share goes up though, and median and large follow after that. Investors, 41,000 more homes than they sold. So this does impact first-time home buyers. Certainly in certain areas, this is an impact for first-time home buyers, limiting the availability of homes. All right. I'll drop the rest of that in. Want to give you the highlight on that report. New report. I'll drop the highlights into school. You can grab that there. You can try school for free for the next 7 days. Definitely join me on the Role Play Mastermind on Tuesday, along with Tom Toole, Lisa Chinati. 10 years, starting off the day here, just under 4.089 on the 10-year. We saw a 30-year fix yesterday. Tick up a touch to 6.37 off of the 6.33 the day before. Been hanging out in that 6.3 range, according to Mortgage News Daily here for the week. The momentum is lost, and that's where we're at until something else shakes out here. Fed Watch, according to CME Group, almost 30 days out, 34 days out from that December meeting. CME Group has a 69% chance of a cut happening at this December meeting. So even though, we lost momentum with Powell making that claim, hey, I don't know about December, man. Like, don't go buy your ham yet. We're probably not doing a cut. Well, Polymarket, CME Group, both kind of calling the bluff, both at 69% chance of a 25 basis point cut happening in December. Lock and change between now and then. Keep our eye on that. All right. There's your hot sheet for the week. Later today, we'll have a new walkthrough here on the main channel. Right, Haley? New walkthrough?
Yes. 5 o'clock.
Haley says yes. 5 p.m. today, new walkthrough. New Knowledge Brokers over on the Knowledge Brokers channel, separate channel. Find that on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to pods. Obviously, on the YouTube channel. New one up tomorrow. All right. There you go. There's your hot sheet. I'll see you guys next time. Until then, toodaloo.